Seems like it was a dream that has somehow faded into memory and it will never be the same again.
For years after his death, one part of Neverland Ranch remained a complete mystery. A sealed garage, personally designed by Michael Jackson and strictly off-limits to even his closest family. When the doors were finally forced open in 2024, everyone expected to find old cars and forgotten tour merchandise. But they were wrong. They opened Michael Jackson's garage, and what they found inside was far more shocking than anyone could have imagined. What secrets was he hiding in plain sight? And why were they guarded so fiercely for over a decade? Before we dive into the details, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. In the years following Michael Jackson's passing, Neverland Ranch faded from a vibrant wonderland into a kingdom of ghosts. The carnival rides that once spun endlessly now stood silent, their bright colors surrendering to rust. The laughter was gone, replaced by an eerie quiet that haunted the sprawling 2,700-acre estate. But while the rest of Neverland decayed, one place remained perfectly preserved and sealed off from the world. Behind the mansion stood a reinforced garage, its heavy door chained shut, a fortress against time itself. For over a decade, rumors swirled about what it contained: priceless treasures, secret vehicles, or maybe even unreleased music. Insiders whispered about it, but no one dared to breach the sanctum. Then, in 2024, a sweeping legal audit of Jackson's properties gave the final order: open everything. The world was about to see inside, but to understand what they found, you first have to understand the mind of the man who sealed it shut. Michael Jackson lived his life on a global stage, but behind the dazzling performances was a man who fiercely guarded his private world. The sealed garage was the ultimate symbol of this deep-seated need for privacy. It wasn't just a place to park cars. It was a sanctuary he personally designed, a physical barrier between the king of pop and the man in the mirror. Those closest to him knew him as a meticulous perfectionist who found peace by controlling his environment. This wasn't just about luxury. It was about creating a fortress where the noise of the outside world couldn't get in. Inside those walls, shielded from the endless scrutiny and chaos, he could simply be himself. The garage was more than just a building. It was a vault for his identity. Understanding this makes what happened next even more dramatic. The garage was built to keep the world out, and it wasn't going to surrender its secrets without a fight. The day arrived like a storm on the horizon. A team of technicians and estate representatives gathered as they faced the rusted, unyielding metal door. This was no simple lock. The keypad was dead, its circuits fried by time. Rumored to be forged from a custom alloy, the heavy bolts resisted even the most advanced cutting tools. Specialists who had cracked bank vaults stood baffled as every attempt failed. Finally, after hours of grinding metal and a shower of sparks, the door groaned in defeat. It swung open to reveal a void of thick, unyielding darkness. Flashlights pierced the gloom, illuminating rows of vehicles sitting like silent ghosts, perfectly preserved under a fine layer of dust. The air was heavy, smelling of leather, oil, and history, but it was a faded sign on the far wall that truly set the scene. Its golden letters faintly reading, "Drive your dreams." This wasn't just a garage. It was a shrine, and its chrome relics were waiting. As hidden overhead lights flickered on, cutting through decades of darkness, the true scale of the collection came into view. The first vehicle to emerge from the shadows was a stunning 1985 Rolls-Royce Corniche, its turquoise paint gleaming as if it were brand new. This was his chariot from the Thriller era, a symbol of his coronation as the undisputed king of pop. Deeper in, a 1954 Cadillac Fleetwood radiated timeless authority. This wasn't about flash. It was about legacy, a car associated with presidents and old Hollywood royalty, reflecting his yearning for classic dignity. Beside it sat another Rolls-Royce, a silver cloud, an exquisite collector's piece known for its extreme rarity. This vehicle whispered of Michael's obsessive taste for perfection, mirroring the flawless, handcrafted detail in his own work. Each car in this initial row was more than just a machine. They were chrome memoirs frozen in time. But one of them held a secret that was far more personal than all the rest. Of all the vehicles in that hallowed garage, the turquoise Rolls-Royce Corniche held the most personal story. It wasn't about showing off his wealth. Friends often described it as his quiet ride. This car was his personal cocoon on wheels, a sanctuary where the noise of the outside world simply faded away. But it was a small detail inside that revealed its true significance. A faded cassette tape was still sitting in the deck, partially ejected. The label was worn, but legible, off the wall. It was paused halfway through the haunting track, "She's Out of My Life," the very song where his voice famously breaks with raw emotion. This tiny detail transformed the car from a mere vehicle into a rolling diary, a private space where he could retreat and reflect. The Corniche was a symbol of his inner world, a place of quiet introspection. But it was just one chapter in a much larger story told by the other machines in the room. As they ventured deeper into the garage, the story told by the vehicles began to shift. They were no longer just symbols of success, but symbols of defense. One of the most telling was a pristine Mercedes-Benz 500 SEL. This was a fortress on wheels, complete with factory-installed bulletproof windows. During the height of the media storms and legal battles that followed him, this car was his mobile sanctuary, a silent cocoon designed for invisibility. Nearby, a silver Spur limousine whispered a different narrative. It was the vehicle of quiet philanthropy, its fiber-optic star ceiling creating a serene atmosphere for carefully managed public appearances. But then came the most enigmatic piece, a matte black Phantom 6. This car had no rear windows. Instead, internal screens created a private moving theater, a vault for an artist retreating completely from the world. Each car was another layer of armor, but tucked away in a corner, one vehicle was so unexpected it defied all logic. Hidden in a shadowed corner, amidst the luxury and armor, sat something utterly unremarkable, a 1993 Ford Econoline van. Its plain beige exterior was so mundane, it seemed almost invisible, a ghost in a room of kings. It looked completely out of place, as if it had been parked there by mistake. But when the sliding door was pulled open, the illusion was shattered. The inside was a secret creative world, with walls clad in deep blue velvet and custom leather seats. At its heart was something truly unexpected, a built-in Super Nintendo, its game cartridges neatly organized. This was his private escape pod. The most stunning discovery, however, was a notebook tucked into a side pouch. Its pages were filled with intricate stage designs, notes for future tours, and drafts for a children's book he never finished. This van was his mobile imagination tank, where his creativity could run wild. And the ideas in that notebook were just the beginning. The creative energy in that van pointed towards one final secret. Tucked behind a tarp-shrouded motorcycle stood a stack of black crates, each bearing the faded gold logo of Me J Productions. When pried open, they revealed something far more valuable than any car, a hidden vault of pure vision. Inside were astonishingly detailed blueprints for a concert tour that never happened, one that was meant to be his ultimate comeback. The cover page was boldly titled, History 2, The Resurrection Tour. The designs were breathtakingly ambitious, showcasing multi-tiered stages with mechanized elevators and plans for immersive light shows that would envelop entire stadiums in illusion. Handwritten notes in the margins spoke of interactive elements that were decades ahead of their time. This was the garage's biggest revelation. It wasn't a mausoleum for the past, but an incubator for the future. They hadn't just found forgotten objects. They had found the unfulfilled dreams of a man who never stopped creating. In the end, Michael Jackson's garage contained more than just cars and blueprints. It held the story of his life, a physical timeline stretching from the peak of his fame to his retreat into a private, creative sanctuary. When news of the discovery surfaced, interest from collectors and auction houses was immediate, with experts recognizing the immense historical value of the collection. But the estate's decision was both powerful and unexpected. None of it would ever be sold. Instead of being scattered to the highest bidders, the garage was to be preserved as a monument. The heavy door was sealed once more, not to hide secrets, but to protect a legacy. It was now a testament to the complex human artist behind the legend. This leaves us with one final question. If you uncovered something Michael Jackson hid for a reason, would you share it with the world or keep it sealed? Share your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching.